Do you want to do an intro for once? Because I feel like I always butcher them.
Oh no, you never butcher them. Definitely not.
And I love how I'm always drinking tea. It's like a
That's a nice. Oh, a Troy Avid in the morning.
yes.
Wow.
It's one of my
Troy
it's one of my
Avid in the
morning. I love it. And it's exact to the show.
Yeah,
so it was a birthday present. Absolutely love that. Isn't it your birthday coming up tomorrow?
Saturday.
Yeah. Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday. Woo! 32. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my back.
My spleen. Okay, we only have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm gonna kick this off. This is a Dan opener.
A Dan opener.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
What are we talking about again? Oh, multiplayer trophies. Multiplayer trophies. Like, okay, who likes them? No one. No one likes multiplayer trophies. Should we petition to get rid of them?
Yes, says I.
Okay, wow. Okay,
no.
No. Okay, no. I think I'm on the no camp. Let's just kick it off there.
I'm on the no camp. Thanks for watching.
No camp.
Look, this topic, I came across a post on Reddit about some talk of a petition to ban multiplayer trophies from being added to games. Now, I don't know how far along this petition got. I'm assuming there was at least a dozen names on it, at least, and they were all written online, so thereby making them more authentic. And it just got me thinking about trophy lists in general, how they're constructed, what types of trophies are added. And I think it's becoming more pertinent to the trophy hunting community as it gets bigger. I think there's a weird sense of platinums they're becoming easier anyway, the Sony first party ones. So when I see something like a petition to ban multiplayer trophies, as much as I hate them, I think that's just stupid, really.
Yeah, it's a weird idea. So the pitch is that that every game would just not have multiplayer trophies. Is that right?
Essentially, yes, just to ban them from a list. And if the servers close, that the trophies unlock automatically.
Okay.
Or that they change the conditions. I know one or two games, I forget the names of them, that the developers went back and changed the conditions for the list. And remember, Mass Effect 3 handled that, where the trophy unlocked for a single player criteria or multiplayer one. So when the servers close, you can still unlock the trophy, just you have to hit different conditions. So that was kind of the gist of it, which leads me to one thing. It's why would anyone bother their ass unlocking them in the first place if they're well, if the server is closed in a year, I'll just unlock them all anyway. But that'll render them meaningless. So it'll be meaningless because they'll just unlock automatically. But then it would also just spit in the face the people that went to the lengths to unlock them naturally. And then it's well, what's a multiplayer only game going to do? You can't just have a blank list or one trophy saying thanks for playing and then just leave it at that. I do think at some point trophies need to be a challenge, otherwise there's no fun in it for me. I mean,
challenge.
Look, I bitch about trophies more than probably your most men, but say the prime example would be the Evil Within for me personally. I still don't think I'm going to go back to it. I think it's going to be sitting at 6% for a long time, as staying on my account, if you will. But the thing is, it's not the list. It is a terrible list, but I will uphold that list right to exist, because at least, if you have to earn that platinum, and if I'm not gelling with it, I just won't bother going for it. I'm not going to scream and demand that, the developers change the list. I like challenge difficulty trophies. I think it forces you to play the game kind of to its truest extent, or in its most exciting extent. And the fact that they're kind of disappearing from the big first party games, only to be out of New Game Plus trophies are so hot right now. But I'd much rather, a hardest difficulty trophy. So I'd be completely against it, really. I think multiplayer trophies shouldn't be outrageous, but they should still be in a game because it's such a big component of a lot of games. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly reasonable take. It seems a bit over the top to just say let's get rid of them when, I suppose it's one half of the type of gaming that you can do. You can either do single player or you can do multiplayer gaming. I think we've as a world,
Culture.
as a culture, as a gaming world culture thing, I think we've taken our foot off the multiplayer only thing. I think companies have kind of started to realize that actually, no, we don't have to make everything multiplayer. Now they think everything needs a battle pass. But in terms of like, we went through the dark ages of, online passes, for example, when every game had an online pass, or like a key to lock it to your account or whatever. Like, God of War Ascension had one, and
Them's were dark times.
Dead Space. Did Dead Space 2 have one, or Dead Space 3? I think Dead Space 2 had one. 3. Okay.
I don't remember
I
don't remember Dead Space 2. I think it was more. Yeah. It was a
lot of
2030. Yeah, a lot of games.
Mass Effect 3 definitely had one.
Oh God, yeah.
There was a lot of EA games, definitely. So that was like a thing, and then after that, I think they realized, okay, well, Sony came out, of course, when the PS4 was announced, and they said this is how you trade games, or how you can trade used games, and they just handed it over. That was great. Big meme, whatever. And that kind of put a nail in the coffin of the online pass stuff. But then we moved into like an era where everything had to be like, online focused, and it was like, connection all the time, and games, everyone was trying to make the next big multiplayer thing. And like that's carried on to now when, people kept trying to replicate Fortnite. But it seems like we've kind of with maybe it's with the Sony first party games where they've kind of realized people want first party or want story games. They want there's a big market for that, and I think Elden Ring last year really proved that.
And God of War, Ragnarok later in the year.
Yeah. So like, I don't think there's as big a focus anymore on everything having to be multiplayer anymore. Games don't have tacked on multiplayers as much as they used to. Games, developers and publishers seem to be a little bit more okay with the idea of releasing stuff that has no multiplayer at all. We see that with like a lot of the maybe not like first party Microsoft stuff, but definitely on the Game Pass, like there's a huge amount of indie games on there, and like indie games thrive on the Game Pass, which is really cool. And Sony have put forward loads of cool indies. Like Stray this year was pretty cool. And yeah, I think there's a step away from multiplayer everything. An appreciation of the kind of the market value of a story game, of an offline single player game. So I think it's kind of doesn't, for me, even seem like the best time to start saying, oh, get rid of multiplayer trophies, when it doesn't even really feel like it's that big a deal anymore than what it used to be.
And the thing was, like for multiplayer, like trophies and multiplayer, they're somewhat intrinsically linked. It's all the competition.
Yeah.
And you get a trophy for saying, I was better than you, bitch.
Yeah.
In a game. And
in
what it in a game. So that's what it distills down to. So like some of the trophies I remember getting the most kind of amped up for unlocking were multiplayer trophies. So like just recently with UFC 4, which was accidentally added to my list. But look, I like the game mechanics. It reminds me of Fight Night Round 4 in a way. I do appreciate like a sim fighting game, in fairness. The Blitz mode was a pain in the ass. It was tough. I really struggled with it. But my God, when I finally unlocked it, it was euphoria. And you don't quite get that with single player trophies. Now, again, look, I still think some multiplayer trophies I've had to, I felt the need to unlock. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
They had just ridiculous, unlock requirements. But when you like an online trophy kind of hits different to a single player trophy. I can't quite explain it. So say like Fight Night Round 4, you know, to finally get those, that was like a crazy sort of, oh my god, I got it. The treasures in Uncharted 3, the DLC on the PS3 now, when I finally find that last treasure, and the guy I was boosting the game with for 2 years on and off, you know, when he finally got his Sergio, yes, hello Sergio, great dude. Like we were like as close to actually high-fiving as one man in Ireland and one man in Italy can do. It was just, it was like, we did it, man. Like for about 5 minutes, we're just, oh my God, we actually did it. It felt like the end of like an epic journey.
Yeah.
And, you know, with competitive modes, you know, you run the risk of the servers closing. But I mean, a lot of games, unless it's, you know, FIFA, I've been burnt with online. That's the reason I can't get a perfect 100% completion list. So I can understand, but it's like, look, I didn't put the time in when it was out. So, I mean, I missed the boat, and I've learned to accept that. Yeah. And you lose a lot of, I guess, creative trophies to use, because, I mean, look at a Sony first party game now. It's like, you know, collectibles, which are normally marked on a map. There's no difficulty based trophies. It tends to be story progression, the collectibles, and maybe like an Easter egg or two, like a side quest. Okay, that's kind of like a dull list, really, when you think about it. It's very like generic. But say something like Journey, where you finish 70 or 80% of the game with someone that you don't even know, like that's a unique sort of trophy that gets lost if you're just to like get rid of all online trophies. Like there's
don't have that trophy.
I had to pick dude, load it up on the PS3. I told you I'll go through it with you. Yeah, the servers are probably dead anyway. Yeah, and we can find some way of like confirming that it's actually, you know, each other.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting one, because what you were saying there's maybe that's the reason why people don't like, well, it is the reason why people don't like multiplayer trophies so much, is because there is so much uncertainty behind them. And you know, it's not like, for me, it's obviously the uncertainty of like, you know, will I have enough time to get it, or
dodgy servers,
yeah. But like there's also a skill thing too. Yeah. Because like sometimes I look at a list and I'm like, okay, like say for example, one of the ones that like pops to mind is Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or Fighters. I don't know what it is, but I think it's Fighter Z. But like in that one, I was a big fan of the Dragon Ball Z Budokai series, and I wanted to try Fighter Z quite a lot. But then I was looking at the trophies and I was kind of like, okay, it's a huge grind, and there's a huge online portion to it, and like the online stuff is all like, it seems to be fairly skill based, and I was kind of like a bit put off by that, because I was like, oh, you know, maybe if I'm like, I'm sure the servers are just packed with like absolute pros now, so like that way, yeah, it definitely puts me off it a little bit. Sometimes it would just make me a little bit more hesitant to play a game, I think, when I know that'd be ahead of me, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, like say like Red Faction Guerrilla, that, you know, I got the Light of Death and the stats weren't stored online, so I had to restart. And, you know, I was at like 250 or 235 wins out of the 250, and, you know, I had to restart. Like there is a high risk but a high reward with them. And I feel like just trophies in general would be a little bit worse off without the option of online, because it's essentially proving yourself against other gamers, which like it is at the heart of the gaming community just in general. But, you know, it's kind of nice to get a visual representation of that time you were better than someone else.
Here's a question then, like this might kind of frame this debate in a different way. Can you think of a game, or maybe a few games maybe, that multiplayer trophies benefited the game, made it better for you? Because I'm trying to think and I'm struggling. I can think of a lot of examples that suck.
Now, whether or not these trophies were good, at least they introduced me to a part of the game I probably would have tried. First one that pops into my head is the factions mode in The Last of Us. I
Okay.
absolutely
Yeah.
adored that online mode, and if it wasn't for the trophies, I wouldn't have given it the light of day. And if they're
Yeah.
not ridiculously long to get,
Yes.
for me that was like a manhunt mixed with The Last of Us. It was just a wonderfully done multiplayer mode.
Completely agree. Yeah.
So I adore that. That's more my pace. Splinter Cell Blacklist was fantastic. Online co-op. So maybe I'm cheating. It's not competitive. So okay.
No,
So
no, online in any capacity. Yeah.
because online cooperative maybe sits in a different field that people aren't as resistant to as kind of competitive.
Can I come in there and just say,
Yeah.
actually, online cooperative trophies put me off a list 100 times faster than multiplayer, like competitive trophies.
My mind goes to the fucking zombie mode in Black Ops. That's technically co-op, and that was the most convoluted trophy. But again, there is a weird sense of satisfaction that there is me and 3 other lads from around the world doing the most mundane, random bullshit to unlock this trophy, and we had to work so cohesively as a team or it would fail. And it's something that pushes you, and oddly, I think you get a lot of enjoyment out of the game. The game kind of transcends something because of this is such a high threshold to reach.
Yeah.
That kind of just elevates the experience, like, I mean, it's not really the destination, it's the journey kind of thing. And like another one would be BioShock 2. I actually really enjoyed that multiplayer mode. Maybe the rank 50 was a bit OTT. But the one game that I'm surprised you didn't think of. Now, I don't think there's any trophies tied in with it, but the invasion in Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I generally play those games offline, to be honest.
That shocks me. You seem like someone that taunts
them
and just invades someone and just starts slicing and dicing.
Like, yeah, I think because I started playing the Souls series back originally on Demon Souls, I played those always offline because the invaders actually fucked your game up for the trophies, because if you died in body form, you're fucked. And if you changed character tendency by killing phantoms at the wrong time, you could fuck that up as well. So
for me, it was Bloodborne with the first time I got invaded, because I started with Bloodborne and then worked my way towards the other games in the series. But when someone invaded and started closing all the gates, so I had to like go around the long way to unlock them and died. I'm like, first of all, beautiful troll move. I respect that, because that's definitely off the beaten path. It's like I'm not going to kill him. I'm just going to close all the gates. That's so much more.
I didn't think you could close the gates.
Yeah, it's so much more vindictive than just outright murdering me.
Yeah, that's so funny.
The heist trophies, I thought that they were excellent in GTA 5.
Yeah.
I'm just and trying to think of anything else.
I'm looking through my list here, and I think I avoid them like the plague most of the time.
Yeah, like look, the thing is, I'm not a complete, I'm not entrenched in this. Like, I'm shades of grey. There are horribly implemented online trophies, but if you're coming at me with saying that they just shouldn't be added at all, I'm going to disagree with you.
No, I agree. I think Ghost of Tsushima had a really good
Legends mode. That was great.
Yeah, Legends mode was good. It was actually the best bit of the entire game for me.
Yeah, Portal 2 as well.
Portal 2, yeah, doing the
back in the day. Mm-hmm.
That was a good co-op game, definitely.
Resident Evil 5, the worst online trophies ever. Resident Evil 6.
They're particularly bad. I had a very bad experience. I've said this before with Infinite Warfare, because I was playing with a group of people, and they were very nice to help me, but they were also incredibly racist. And I got out of there ASAP. As soon as that started happening, I was like, okay, I'm gone. Bye.
I got the trophy by don't write.
So yeah, that was weird. It reminded me why I don't like playing with random people online.
But people don't really use microphones all that often anymore. It was far more prevalent, I thought, in the PS3 era, which is bizarre considering, microphones are built into your controller now.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that because sometimes you might forget that it's on.
Oh yeah. Like I the first thing I do is I mute it just as soon as I turn it on, because like I'd be there like just scratching myself going, oh, God. And someone would be like, what is wrong with you?
There's that
so
video
look,
of the little fella singing Coldplay Fix You. Yeah, another one there popped up for me was Red Dead 2. That was possibly one of the best games of the last decade, and such an amazing game, story, world. I was saying this to someone the last day. I think it's the best open world ever, but those online trophies were just pointless crap and made the whole experience
didn't utilize the world.
Yeah,
you see, like I think we're very much aligned on this. We're like, don't remove them at all. Like that's just a ridiculous stance to take.
Yeah,
but have trophies that engage in an interesting way with the mechanics, that force you to maybe play a little bit differently outside the comfort zone. Try to minimize needless grinding. Have enough in place that fulfills the natural lifespan of your game, and don't go 100 hours past that point. I do think, like, to be honest, I do think the PS3 era was a lot worse in terms of how it implemented online trophies. So I find it odd that a petition is just rearing its head now. Again, I say that very light. It's not very official, like a petition for online trophies, but I find it odd. But I think it's only coming about because I think trophy hunting has just exploded in terms of popularity. I think since like lockdown, man, like the last 3 years have been like, you just see so many more like YouTube channels, like discussions, like members and forums, and it's become like a much bigger thing now. So I think that's why it's just popping up. But I think that online trophies, when done well, can be really creative, really fun, really satisfying, competitive, and just really, really joyous to unlock, because they definitely have a higher skill ceiling than single player. Unless you're playing on the hardest difficulty. But like, it's always different when you're competing against a real person or working alongside another real person. It gives it feeds the community, man. It
does. Yeah. So I think I would definitely agree with the sentiment, though, that if servers are closing, it would be much more preferable that they change the requirements. Now, that's a pie in the sky kind of request, because
FIFA 10, please, EA. Go back to FIFA 10.
Back to FIFA 10 is the only one we need. But I know, say, with the only one that jumps to my mind that changed the requirements for me, at least, was Destiny 2, where they went and they changed kind of the shelved content, the stuff that whatever they call it, sunset content or whatever. And they changed the requirements to something else, which was super cool. But it's that's an unrealistic expectation for especially like smaller games with servers, and because these things cost money, and they I believe that they even cost it's not cheap to submit these kind of changes sometimes for games, and submitting patches, which I imagine the trophy changes would need to be similar. It would probably have to be some type of a patch, but I
still think Mass Effect 3 did it wonderfully well, where it just gave 2 different sets of criteria to unlock the one trophy. I think if you implement it from the get-go, like,
that's the best thing about Mass Effect 3.
I can't and the Citadel DLC. I give the Citadel DLC. Like,
never played this.
That's the actual ending. That's like the epilogue that should have been in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it to you sometime.
I'll take your word for it.
No, it really makes it worth playing for me, as someone that was invested in the characters. But Mass Effect 3 is a whole other bloody discussion. So I think if you implement that from the get-go and maybe give it a quality of life assurance just right out the gate, you could avoid a lot of these, again, I'm going to say very loosely, controversies.
But
that's essentially,
ultimately, like, people need to realize that you don't have to have 100% on these things.
That's
It's
coming from me. Like you
yeah,
don't need to. You may have this unrelenting eagerness and desire to go for it, possibly against your better instincts, but you don't
yeah.
have to. You don't have to. And
No,
like just
just step
because,
away,
yeah,
you know.
just step away. Getting them handed to you as a participation award is not the way to go. I mean, trophies are already on essentially like life support in terms of like, you know, credibility with the influx of Radilica and, you know, just shovelware games. Come on. Like again, I would love, like, I wouldn't complain if EA messaged me going, oh, we're going to give you all those FIFA 10 trophies. I'd go, oh, yeah, yes, please. So I get it. But ultimately, I'd feel a lot more satisfied if I unlocked them myself.
Yeah,
Because that's
like
the whole point.
really what this I'm going to flip the conversation around now to a completely different topic, but really what we should be talking about is that Sony should implement deletion of trophies. That would be good.
Yes, that could be a topic for another day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's to be continued.
To be continued. In
Cue.
short, I think that there should be like, you know, you can delete 5 games every 2 years, just to prevent, you know, if you get hacked from someone deleting all your trophies.
Yeah, but if you get hacked, you've lost your account anyway. You know.
Well, you might be able to get it back, but at least they can't like just wipe all your trophies, because then it's like, no.
But
or like if you
if you
delete
go
them,
into-
you can claim them back for a year or something, and then after that,
it's like if you
Thanos.
change a document, you know, you can revert it to a previous state.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
in the
I'm sure they
recycle
can-
bin. It's in the
Yeah,
recycle
I'm sure
bin.
they can hold on to the trophy data. You know, it's all there. But like, yeah, I don't buy that argument that like, oh, it stops people, you know, it deleting them from their account, because your account is gone if someone is in that position, you know, to do that. I don't.
A very
maybe,
soothing, calming voice in the face of danger there.
maybe maybe there's like some kind of potential fraud with deleting trophies, like that people might be able to use to their benefit.
But
I don't know.
Every list would be perfect, though. Again, it's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, well, let's shelve that one and come back to the idea of deleting trophies.
Yes, we'll leave it up to the studio audience, all 3 of you.
Yeah.
What is your stance on online trophies? Should they be a thing of the past? Did you sign the petition? And if you did, who are you submitting it to?
To Mark.
Mark.
Mark is going to change it. Yeah.
Poor Mark is getting he's getting a bollocking from us the last week or 2, isn't he? We're sorry, Mark. We're sorry.
We're sending a lot of, you know, complaints his way, at least.
It's like, just get it sorted, Mark. We love you, though. We love you. So yeah, just let us know what you think. We have been the Platchums, and I'm actually gonna I don't know where you are in relation, because it's always different. I haven't done the high five in a while. Kenneth reminded me. Kenneth in the comments did a high five, and I'm like, oh my god, we actually haven't done a high. I haven't done a high five in a while.
Do both this sides.
I mean, yeah, true. I actually hit the shelf. It sounded very rickety. Anyway, that's it from us. Bye. How's my lighting?
Lighting looks great. I think mine's probably a bit too bright. Although actually, very fortuitously, I have like this light fixture shoots 4 lights. So there's 4 bulbs, and 2 of them come this way and 2 of them go this way. And where I have to be in the room with like the plugs and stuff means that one of them shoots like right down on my head. But that out of all of them, that bulb died. So it doesn't shoot on my head, and all the other ones are there. So the lighting works out, you know.
It's like you're meant to do this, to sit.
Yeah, exactly.
In your kitchen.
You sit in my kitchen.
Trophies.
Yeah.
That's studio style production.
I was destined for greatness.
Platchums!